Who's gotten an AC in the room? Account created. Okay, so we all know how to knock a door, right? So, hi, I'm Lee. I'm gonna sell you some solar. So I want everybody right now to just take your phone out, and I want you to write down the top 1 to 5 things that you think are fundamentals in this job. And the reason that this is relevant, because what Chris Pierce is talking about is when we say winners win because they do what winners do, winners act well under pressure. When you put me in the pot and there's a lot of pressure, I don't fold. I know how to act in that moment, and it's because I go into my fundamentals. So I want everybody to write down the top 5 things, 1 to 5 things they think are the core fundamentals of this job. Silence! So listen, why do I have mindset first? Mindset will freeze you into inactivity. It will terrify you into rep suicide. It will cause you not to knock a door. It will cause you not to get out of the car. It will cause you not to come into work. It will cause you to do a lot of negative things in life if you have the wrong mindset. I loved when Mitch was up here, right? What is Mitch's job? Mitch wakes up in the morning and goes and gets in fist fights all day with MMA dudes and wrestles and works out and takes cold baths and has it's a pretty tough day. And he said, you know, if I got up every day and I thought, oh man, that's what I gotta go do all day, like, you quit, it'll kill you. And it's the same with doors. My mindset has to be that I'm gonna go out and do what's needed to be successful. Shark in the water. I'm here to help you. I can do this. I believe in myself. I'm here to serve people. My job is to go find people who don't want solar but need it and talk them into it, right? The moment I stop believing in myself, the moment I stop believing in what I'm doing, the moment that I stop believing in my team, the moment that I stop believing in anything at the core of me, I will do what? I will immediately go to outside circumstances, everything outside of me that I can't control. I can control the way that I intake information when it comes into my brain, how I think about it. I can then control how I react to that information, and I can control what I do. That's it. If my mindset is, geez, I'm gonna go out and find all the people that want solar today. I'm gonna go get my teeth kicked in. Because it's a different paradigm or perspective of what we're doing. If I'm going out today to pick a fight with as many human beings as I can and have a verbal chess match to close your face on some solar that you didn't want and didn't know you needed, but I'm gonna talk you into it, I'm ready. It's a completely different approach to the game. I see every no as my yes is coming. The other paradigm sees every no as like, nobody wants the solar. Nobody, everybody else is successful on here and I'm not. They're all mean to me. And it builds up and it builds up and it builds up. This moment with Chris Pierce on that podcast was like an explosion for me. I love when people verbalize something that I feel or see but can't quite explain, and then they say it and I'm like, that's what's happening. And then I went inward and I said, well, what do? I go into my fundamentals. My fundamentals are mindset. Here's the first thing I think in this industry. If you can do it, I can for sure do it. And I'm just gonna do what you do. I'm not gonna do what Joe Schmo over here does that gets his teeth kicked in all day. I'm gonna do what the top human being does. That's what I'm gonna do. What do the top human beings not do? They don't bitch. They don't complain. They don't look for things that they can't control. They don't blame all this stuff in the doors in the neighborhoods and the thises and the that's. They just go and they fucking win. That's what I'm gonna do. So that's the first portion of my mindset. If you can do it, I can do it, and I'm gonna win. Because if you can win, I can win. And I'm gonna do exactly what you're doing because you're the best. And that's just what I've always done. The next thing is hard work. Working the hours. Gang, I don't know if you know this, I am obsessed with this career. Every aspect of it, my entire life revolves around it. All of it. I love it. It's everything that I am. I think about it in the day, I think about it in the night, I dream about it, I wake up and my feet hit the ground. In a positive way, in a healthy way. I have a very healthy family life, I have a very healthy marriage, I have a very healthy relationship with my daughter, I have a good relationship with my personal time, but I still find time to obsess about the job. So for me, it's always working. When I got in this, I saw people making insane money. There's people in this room making insane money. And what did I tell you? If you can do it, I can for sure do it. And so all I did was do what they do, and you work hard. There is no, when you see, notepad, 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 notepad. Joey, how many deals you got this month?
11.
Sandra, would you give me a water? Sam, how many you got this month? 11. Sonia? 7. Where's Mara? That's work. It's work. Teresa?
6.
It's work. How many doors you knock? How many days you take off? In a row? Not a lot. What I'm saying is there is no red pill. There's not. I've been in the industry long enough. There's no red pill. Everybody in the industry that's better, including Seth, he was always better than me. And I'm not just saying that. He's my best friend, one of my best friends. But working alongside of Seth, he works harder than me. So he's always made more money than me, and he's always sold more shit than me, because he's always knocked more doors than me. And I'm okay with that, because we're different human beings. And I like my life, and he likes his life. It's terrible. Well, you got to hang out with Cam all day. That's why. It's love your life, but what I've done is when I look parallel, right? I absorb the things that I can do, and the things that I'm comfortable with in my life. Seth has made, in the time that I've watched Seth make just insane sacrifices, right? And he has a very loving and understanding wife, but it's work. He's worked incredibly hard to get where he is. And the men that I've seen on the playing field that are just outworking me are just doing better than me, and I'm doing good. And the people that are doing less than me are just working not as much as me, not as hard. If you want the red pill, that's it. Swallow it. It's that simple. It's hard work combined with mindset. Because you cannot work hard in this industry at all if you don't have the right mindset. I call it rep suicide. You will commit suicide. Now, everybody in the room knows what I'm talking about. Who's seen people that have committed rep suicide? And it's their brain. It's the same doors. I've seen it. I've assigned Elijah a hood to go knock behind somebody else that tanked for 2 weeks in a hood, and he gets 6 deals out of it. Same doors, same humans, same new homeowners, same Las Vegas, same solar project, same shirt, same hat, different results. Different mindset, different approach, different work ethic. I've talked to you guys about The Matrix before, when Neo in the first one, where he's in a Kung Fu match with the dude, and he's like, I know Kung Fu, and he's like, yeah, let's go, let's fight. And then he gets his ass whipped by the dude, and the dude's standing over him, and they're in a computer, and he goes, do you think I'm beating you because I'm stronger than you in this computer? I'm beating you because of my mind. This job is an equal opportunity employer. The doors don't care what sex you are, male, female, black, white, Asian, Spanish, old, young, 18, 25, 30, 45, 60, they're going to treat you the same. How you act on those doors determines your results. And the two top factors are how you feel about doors, how you interact with yourself. I love what Ashton said. We're all our own bosses, and some people are shitty own bosses. Don't be a shitty your own boss, right? You're managing your time, your effort. Who's worked a job like this that hasn't been indoors? There isn't one. This job makes you face yourself in ways that you've never faced yourself. This job is like a marriage or a relationship. You're like, wow, I gotta compromise and make changes and be stronger and have more ethics and morals and work ethic and manage my time and my personal time. You have to be more than you've ever been to be successful here. And when I say that's what the top people were doing and that's just what I did, that's literally just what I did. What are you doing? Reading a book. What book? How many? Done. What are you doing? Listening to done. What are you? Check. How many hours you? Check. Go. And that's all I did. And I've been doing that for 5 years. Compound effect. Results. I didn't reinvent the wheel. I'm not that smart, guys. I'm a knuckle dragger. I spell cat with a K. I'm not smart enough to reinvent this wheel, and it doesn't need to be reinvented. We have what'd you say?
It sounds like some bullshit to me.
We have enough greats just in this room, right? To just fall in the footsteps of highly successful individuals. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. I was listening, we did the podcast with Cody Vabel yesterday, and you just hear success just leaves break. Every highly successful person. You know how Cody got here yesterday, guys? In his plane. Flew here in his plane. Cody's a door knocker. And he just selling his $1 million plane to buy a $3 million plane. Seth's gonna get a plane soon, I hope. It's a good write-off. But what I'm saying is he's a door knocker. I want a plane. He's been in the industry a long time. Well, when I'm in the industry that long, I want a plane too. Everything he said is everything I've always heard from every successful person. It's all the same. I do this, and this, and now I'm here. Click, right? So, mindset and hard work. This is the next one. Consistency. This doesn't matter. Dan, you just came in today, looking pretty fit. Go to the gym once a month? No. How many times?
5 days.
How long you been going?
25 years.
Consistency. The compound effect. I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's the gym. I don't care if it's golf. I don't care if it's basketball. I don't care if it's doors. You are not going to get results without a consistent effort. What happens after a consistent effort? The compound effect. The compound effect is a law. And I always tell, this is a stupid one, but I'm like, click your teeth together. It's the compound effect of brushing your teeth. The compound effect is so ever present in your life, you don't even realize it. Every single thing you are now at this moment in this room is the result of the compound effect of your actions, behaviors, and choices. This is who you are right now, based on what you do consistently. Eating, working out, education, work, self-belief systems, self-talk. Do you know what happens? I don't do it anymore. But who's woken up and the first couple minutes are just spent just bitching yourself out? Like, I suck. I'm fat. I ate donuts. I didn't go to the gym yesterday. I'm not as good as so-and-so. If you allow yourself to continuously talk to yourself like that, you will believe it. That's the compound effect. It is ever present in every aspect of your life. So you have to have consistency in positive things and they will compound, and that includes work. You have to respect your shift here. I don't have your shift. I have different job duties, and I loved when Ty on his podcast said, or it was Jordan, that listen, Doug Robinson and me are just as busy. We're just doing different jobs. Seth and I, well, Seth probably still works more than me, I'm gonna admit it. I'm like at 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, I'm done. And he's like, still at the office, buddy. I'm like, Jesus Christ, go home already. But we're just as busy doing different jobs. Just because the job changes doesn't mean you get to be less busy. The busy is the work, and that's the consistency. The next piece is education. Okay. What is that word? What's the difference between a career and a job? Does anybody else have anywhere they can go make $1 million right now in the next 5 years? Sam?
Job is an acronym.
I don't even know what I said I spell cat with a K, Sam. I don't know what an acronym is.
Job stands for? Does anyone know what job stands for?
Tell us.
Job spelled
We're broke. Thank you, Sam. I love it. So listen, why is education important? So I just released the Rawlings brothers today. You know what Kelly said? It was amazing. That's why I love listening to these different people. He's like, well, I ask people, what do you want to be? I'm going to be a lawyer. I want to be a doctor. Okay. You know Bowtie Nick? My buddy just graduated as a lawyer. How long has he been in law school, Joey?
At least 4 years. He's been in school for like 12 years.
Forever. So entering into that project, to have that career, you say, I'm going to go to school and pay hundreds of thousands of dollars, and I'm going to go 4 or 5 days a week for a really long time. You're willing to pay the price. What is the price? You got to read a lot of books. You got to write a lot of papers. You got to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars to be a lawyer or a doctor. You're willing to pay that price because you understand and feel like you're entering into a career. Who would go be a lawyer if lawyers made teacher money? Nobody. Hey, you want to be a lawyer? We're making like 25 grand a year. It's great. You make what? Yeah, you're just going to rack up like $200,000 of student debt. You're going to go to school for 8 years, and when you graduate, you're going to make like 25, 30 grand. It's going to be great. Nobody would do it. Still don't do it. No, we don't do it. How much student debt you got?
Probably triple what you would guess.
Okay, right? But you're willing to commit to that level of financial and personal engagement because of the outcome. And if you view this as a job, you will not have the same results that I have had. You will not have the same results that Seth has had. Anybody that you admire, people that have been on the podcast, almost everybody that's been on the podcast is in the $1 million income range. From, hey, how you doing today? I'm Lee, I'm out here. That's where it started. If you can do it, I can do it. But they have taken this as a career opportunity. They see the forest past the trees. How much did you make? Do you mind sharing how much you made, Sam, last year?
1.23 million.
Guys, Sam made 1.23 fucking million fucking dollars last year. He's a door knocker. He spells cat with a T, so I'm joking. But this is what I'm saying. The reason I love this career is because it's based on what I'm capable of doing, what's happening behind my nose, how I'm operating, and what I'm willing to go out and do, my belief systems. I'm not trying to teach you guys how to be plastic surgeons. We don't need to go in and remove somebody's heart tomorrow or do a brain, right? It's not that. This is different. This is you against you. This is you indoors. So educate yourself, guys. Who's reading a book? And I'm hoping that our two aren't. Sonia's in. Ace, do I got you yet? Read a book. Who's reading books? Okay, always be reading. Always be taking in content. Treat this job like it will pay you $1 million fucking dollars, and it will pay you $1 million. I promise you. I cannot make you drink the water. And this ain't Jim Jones juice. I can lead you to the water. I can recommend the book, right? This isn't a tub of Jim Jones juice. This is the real deal. But I'm telling you that the compound effect of mindset, hard work, consistency, and education, I'm the person that I am today. I didn't read books for a long period of time because I have trauma from reading books. I'm not going to explain that, but I don't like to read books anymore. So I quit reading books because I'm like, fuck books. I'm not going to read books anymore. But the people that I admired and loved read books. So I read books. And the compound of those books, effect of those books and hard work and correlations and doors and doing what we do in this industry have made me the man that I am today. And I'm vastly different than I was 5 years ago. I promise you, vastly different. In every aspect of my life, I'm a better human being. Every single aspect. You can't help it when you're doing these things consistently. They compound. And then training. Who loves coming to correlation every day? Who wakes up every day and they're like, correlation? Nobody. I've been doing this for 5 years. Seth, how long have you been coming to correlation? Cam? 14. Okay, anybody else been coming to correlation that long? Then shut up. The training and what comes through correlations compounds. You have to understand all of this is important, right? That's like saying, hey, I want to be in the NBA, but when I get there, I don't want to go to practice anymore. Does that check out? You think Tiger goes, I'm going to be in the Masters next year, but I don't need to practice anymore. I'm pretty good. It doesn't check out. But it's your mindset. It's the way that you feel and believe about what you're doing. If you believe that this will help change your life, if you believe that this will help you make $1 million a year, it will. That's what I believed. That's what Seth believed. That's what all the leaders that I know believe. So I come and I do it. And then dedication. Why is dedication important? Because if I'm not dedicated, all of this can get lackadaisical. None of it can matter. I have to be dedicated internally to the processes and systems that I'm doing. I don't know that I'll ever in my life do another thing than this. I don't. I'm so dedicated to this career. It is intrinsically part of who I am as a human being. I'm in love with it. I love it. I love being with you guys. I love watching you succeed. I love watching Sandra buy a house. I love watching Nick crush it. I love watching new guys come in and just throw down. I love it. Because I relate, Ace.
Isn't that the dedication?
No, it happens, Ace. Stick around long enough. Who's seen somebody commit rep suicide? It's rep suicide. They lose it all. It starts right here. And it just crumbles down. This is just like the sales cycle. It revolves in both ways. If you stop educating yourself, you will hit what's called the law of the lid. And if you want to make $1 million in this industry, you will learn how to recruit or you will not make $1 million. And if you're not educated, you don't have influence. And if you don't have influence, you don't have people following you. Leadership is influence. If you grow into me, I am worthless to you. Law of the lid. I have to educate myself continuously or you will grow into me and I will lose my value and you will not pay me to be me. If you want to be successful, don't seek wealth. Seek to become a person of value and then people will pay you to be you. I pay Seth to be Seth. Period. I cannot grow into Seth because he outworks me every day. So when I talk about this, the dedication is long-term dedication, Ace. It's not just today, it's forever, right? And then foresight. Why is foresight important? Well, because when you're over here and you're digging the ditch, you're like, this doesn't feel like $1 million job. I'm digging the ditch. I'm knocking the door. Can make $1 million knocking this door. And then one day you're closing the deal. And you're like, I don't know if I can make $1 million closing the deal. Sam, how'd you make $1 million last year?
Closing deals.
Closing the fucking deals. But when you're over here and you're knocking the door and it's your first couple months and it's your first year and you're just trying to make $100,000 fucking dollars and you ain't never made $100,000 before and $100,000 seems like a lot of money, $1 million sounds impossible unless you have foresight. Okay, sales cycle. Sam, how much did you make last year? If you can do it, I can do it. Foresight. Sam, are you a rocket scientist?
No, I'm actually really not. Seriously, if I can, you guys can freaking do it.
Cat with a T. So this is what I'm saying about the equal opportunity employer, and this is why all of these things are important for your fundamentals. Winners win because they do what winners do. Who's had it hard? Family times hit hard. Relationship hits hard. Doors hit hard. Nobody answers hard. Financials hard. Scary. Difficult. Whoa, I'm gonna go work at Starbucks. Hard. Terrifying. I'm my own boss now. I'm free solo. I don't get a paycheck. How the hell do I make $1 million doing this? I can't even make $1,000 right now. Hard. When that hits a winner, action. I'm going to destroy that with action. Just raw, unadulterated action. When I get scared, I go into massive action. Still today, I get freaked out enough, knock doors. I should not be like, whatever I got to do, I just go into action. Because I go into my fundamentals and my fundamentals say, you do not quit. Ever. Under any circumstances. You will win. Always. Under all circumstances. Under all pressure. Overcome all fear. Destroy all anxiety. I will not live on a knee. If I take a knee, I will stand up. That's who I am. Because I do this. The reason that everybody in this room is a killer is because all the killers that weren't killers left. They committed rep suicide, and every single one of them had potential. But they quit. Think about it. And now think about yourself. You're winners, okay? So I wanted this, when Chris Pierce said that, it blew my mind, because I was like, that's why. Who's gotten into it, into the dark cloud, and they're like, man, it's this, it's that, it's you, it's her, it's him, it's that, it's the thing, it's this, it's everything but me. Who's done it? That's losing. That's losing. Winning.
I used to play Misty for the Rock.
You still can if you want. Who's done that before? Be honest. The route. So who can control the route? And who's had somebody go behind him on the same route? We did it. And I got your guy. Same route. It's the same door. It's the same company. It's the same shirt. There's different shit coming out of my mouth. Because my brain is thinking about different stuff, so my energy is different, so my approach is different, so what you're seeing is different. And I'm like, hey, shark in the water, man. I got solar. You want a choice with what to do with your money? Calm down, talk to me for a minute, stop having contempt prior to investigation. I'm just the guy with the wheelbarrow. Whatever you want to say, but my enthusiasm is what's winning, okay? Where am I at? I'm going to let these guys come up. All right, so I want everybody to remember that. This is the key takeaway here. When it gets hard, you have to go into fundamentals. Who quits when it gets hard? Raise your hand. Sam. I want you to remember that. Okay, because if you can't quit, if you inside here cannot quit, you will win. I promise you. Who's seen Free Solo? And I'll shut up. Free Solo is about a movie. It's about a dude who climbs up a rock called the Dawn Wall. And the whole movie, he's preparing. And he's like, he does this weird stuff. And he's writing, he's like toe tip finger thing, right? And he's on a wall. And it doesn't even look humanly. I was watching it with Misty. My hands and my feet were sweating. Because I'm like, this dude is dead. And it gets to the end. And free solo in rock climbing means you don't have any ropes anywhere. And he walks up to the dawn wall and he takes his shirt off and he climbs it. That's this job. This job is free solo. If you let go, you die. You have to think of it that seriously. This is a career that will pay you $1 million a year. Do not let go. Do not quit. Fight. Win. If you can't quit, you will win. You will figure, it'll get so hard and so painful. Who's had an objection that they just couldn't get over? And then all of a sudden they were like, got over that. And then it just doesn't happen anymore. That's the job. It's just constant things that come and you just destroy them and you get better, okay? So when it gets hard, fall into your fundamentals, guys. All right, I love you. Who's coming up? I think we got Seth.
Okay. I'm going to be quick because I want Cam to talk to you guys. He didn't really get to talk to you before. I just want to run through real quick as I was watching this training. I really love that training, Lee. Thank you for that. One of the things that kept hitting me is one of my mentors over the years, name's Jake Ellsworth. Does anyone know who that is? Jake Ellsworth. So Jake is like in the alarm world, which means nothing to you guys, but it's the world we come from. I think he's the best ever to do it. He sold like 6,000 alarms. The dude goes like, I was top 1% in alarms by doing 300 every year. And this dude's done 500 for 15 years in a row. He's just a next level. But Jake's been a close friend for years. And my favorite thing that Jake always says when he talks to his people or anyone that he's trying to help is when you have this skill set down, he said the only hard part of the job is the first like 30, 60 days where you're getting like the rudimentary steps to the job down. And once you have that down, you know what to say when someone opens the door, you know how your body language should look, you know how to act around people that you don't know. As soon as you have the skill set down, the only factor that changes, the only thing that changes is the hours, right? The only thing that changes is the hours. And so the more hours, and Lee touched on this, so I don't want to beat up a dead horse anymore, but the only factor, the only difference when you have people who are good, there's minute differences, there's little tricks that someone may know that I don't, that will lock a deal down here or there. But the only factor that makes a big difference is work ethic, is the number of hours that you put in on the door. And so I just want to reemphasize that. Like industry-wide, I'm telling you that's the most important thing you can do. Your mindset, I love that this is first. As you watch, the training, and you listen to each step, he did this in order because you can do this step, but if you don't do the prior steps, it doesn't matter, right? But if I do this step and nothing else, and I go knock doors for an hour a day, but I don't knock super hard and I don't do the rest, I'm not gonna get a great result, but I'll get a good result. Does this make sense? So this is steps that we're building up as we go here. And when you do them all, you're gonna get your maximum return on your sweat equity. And so my focus in this job the whole time has just been, I love knocking doors. That part of this job for me is the easiest part, but even knocking doors versus playing with my daughter, hanging out with my wife, talking shit to Cam or Sam, like there's a lot of things that I would rather be doing than knocking doors, if I'm completely honest. And so the mentality that I've always tried to bring when I do this job is if I'm gonna do something hard, I'm gonna do something that's not my first choice, what's the way for me to get the best return on that investment of my sweat, of my work? And it's to follow these steps. So that's the first thing I wanted to talk about. And then I just want to talk to you guys about growth really quick. We're growing really fast as a company, and there are groups popping up all over the country that need help. What's going to happen in this office over the next 12 months is we're going to need to start pulling leadership away. And so there's going to be groups where I need help from Lee with certain groups. Sam is on the road already a ton, but that's just going to increase as we continue to grow. And so as your leadership starts to work over here and help us focus and build up other markets, what I want to point out is that is going to create a vacuum in this market. It's going to create a need for leadership and a need for growth. And so I just want to hammer home, this is a guidebook. This is a guidebook to get where you want to go in life, right here, that Lee just spent 30 minutes teaching you how to do. There is no trick, there is no red pill. I just want to testify to the things that he's saying. This is how you get where you want to go. Where you want to go doesn't need to be $4 million a year. It doesn't, and it probably shouldn't, because it's a shitty life to get there. But whatever your version is of your life versus career balance that is perfect for you, this is how you get there. It really is very simple. And by sticking with the right leadership. So the one takeaway that I wanted to talk through is I listened to Cody. Cody's a good friend, and we went and hung out last night after. As I listen to him, as I look at any of the people that have gone really far distances in this career, there are a few irrefutable truths amongst all of them, but one of the ones that I want to talk about is loyalty. And I learned that from working with Cody's people, actually. I watched this happen as Cody and I compete against each other now. Cody's the CEO of a competing solar company, much like Lee and I competed in this market for years. And one thing that I watch is, as I've noticed, I took, let's not put any of this on social media, okay? Social media team, but I took almost Cody's entire network from Vivint. And they worked with us for 4 or 5 months, and then Cody decided as he left Vivint that he's gonna be the CEO of a competing solar company based out of Arizona. And a portion of those guys, after coming to Legacy, having a great experience, things going really well, they're killing it, decided that they needed to follow Cody. I respected the hell out of that. We've done a great job. Nobody left because they had a hard time. We killed it in the market they were in. They sold, they were trained, they did well. And these guys have worked with Cody for 14 years. And so they left and went back to work with him. And that kind of made me start thinking about watching Cody's career trajectory, then watching Bodie, watching Casey, watching Mendez, watching any of the guys, Ty Williams, like any of the guys that have done really good. I just want to point out one thing that I've noticed that is common amongst them, amongst myself, amongst anyone that I've seen really excel, is they stay put. They stay put. Can anyone tell me why that's so important? If you want this to be a career, if this is a career for you, and you want this to be something long-term, can anyone tell me why you don't see anyone who bounces around constantly ever do shit? Because you don't. It's a fact. Right. So what does that mean? What does that do for me? Exactly. So there's 2 Seths that could be here right now. There's the Seth that is here, and that's the Seth that is put. That's the Seth that will stand, die, and build at Legacy at all costs. And then there's a Seth that is thinking about someone who installs faster, and someone else who has a lower red line, and someone else. And guys, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not here trying to coax you into staying at Legacy for life. I don't give a shit if it's here or someone else. I want you here because I care about you, and I think we're the best look. But my point is they stayed put. Whether I compete against them or not, they built something. Sam, you're gonna make a comment. If it's dumb, I'm cutting you out. You have 2 seconds to impress me.
Worthwhile.
Yeah. That's exactly right. Joey's a good example of that. Joey's stuck this out for a long time. Joey's in a good position. He's been very loyal. Yeah. And Joey's good at his job. He's talented. He's closed 11. Is that what we said? 11 this month? That's badass. That's huge. And Joey's in a really good position, right? Joey's in a really good position. So someone else had a comment before I jump in. Go ahead. Ace. Yeah, and so that makes you someone people can follow. So I break this down into 3 main reasons there's value here, and then I'll tie it out so Cam can come do something fun. I don't do fun shit. The first reason is kind of like it's been mentioned, is credibility. Is you gain credibility. There is no, with any reputation, I don't know, nobody comes to work at Legacy just because I'm here. Even if I recruited you, even if Lee and I have been best friends for many, many years, no matter how close we are, Sam didn't come to Legacy because I'm here. He came to Legacy because I recruited him and because I have Legacy behind me, right? So the first thing is you start to build a reputation, you get some credibility. The second thing is trust builds, which is the same thing as loyalty, what everyone's talking about. As you are at a place, as you are gaining credibility as a fixture and people start to respect you, you'll get a name that coincides with the place, and people will now trust you because you have name association. Does that make sense? And the third part is drop off. Every time you move, every time you look in another direction, there's gonna be, no matter how good of a leader you are, if I'm looking this direction, there's still someone behind me looking slightly another direction. And as soon as I change my mind about where I'm at, I'm telling them it's okay to do the same thing, right? So this is just, you know, there's been losing the group that went back with Cody. There's been things that we had to push Brandon Cottrell out the door. There's things like that that happen that make you kind of sit and take a look at what's really going on. And what I've realized is there's 3 principles that I've watched every person who's got ahead in this industry. And whether you want that to be you or whether you just want to be a rep that sells a bunch of deals, makes a bunch of money, you need those 3 things if you want to get ahead in this industry. So I literally just thought of that as I was sitting on the couch, but I wanted to run through this, write this down, use this. It's not more complex than this. It's really not. So that's all I have. I'll bring Cam up for a minute now.
It was a long night in the casino last night, so hopefully we still have some left. So, no, I want to talk about a couple of things. We'll tie it out really, really quickly. I know you guys are dying to get on the doors. But I wanted to jump into this also. I read a little bit of Tony Robbins the other day when I was on the treadmill. He was speaking highly of a lot of professionals that get in this slump, right? Who's been in a slump? In anything in life, right? It happens to everybody. And the one thing he attributed most slumps, I think it was like 92% of the slumps that he has personally looked into with one of his clients, what do you think he attributes those things to? What was the number one thing that every one of these people that were in some sort of slump, whether it was in their marriage, whether it was in work, whether it was a professional athlete, what was the one thing they all got away from? The fundamentals. That's it, right? Who thinks this job is excessively harder some days than others? Right? It's typically when we're not doing what? The fundamentals. I promise you, if we all drove out in a big yellow bus right now, opened the door, ran out to the first door and just started knocking together, how easy would it be? It's easy. The fundamentals are there. Get your ass out of the car, go knock a door, be happy about it, have some fun, like go do the job, right? Like go do the damn job. The opposite of that is what? Dude, I'm gonna drive around the neighborhood. I'm gonna go try to check. I've been trying to get this lady home for days. I guarantee she's home today. Drive across town, shit, not home. I'm gonna drive back across town, right? You're doing everything you can except the fundamentals, right? And so, this stuff's phenomenal. The fundamentals of career, I agree 100% full-heartedly with all of this. I want to jump into a little bit of the fundamentals of the job, the career, the actual doing it, right? What's the first thing? Seth wanted me to jump into a little bit of almost door knocking 101, if you will. What's the first thing? Who's newer in here? How long have you been here? 3 days. Shit, real new. 3 months? A month? Cool. 3 months, okay. We'll start with 3 days. What was your name? Jade. Jade? Awesome. So Jade, have you been to area by yourself yet? No. Okay. You get to area by yourself today, let's call it, hypothetically. Jade gets dropped off. Lee's like, Jade, here you go, good luck, see ya. What's step 1?
Knock the door.
Knock the doors, okay. What door? That's it. Right? Who's done this for a really, really long time? Sam, Lee, you guys? I drop you off today in Hood, brand new Hood, you've never been there. What's the first thing you do?
Pissing the bush.
Piss in the bush first. You've got to do that. Number 2,
Knock a door.
knock a door. What kind of door are you looking for?
One without solar panels.
Without solar, okay. Lee?
2 cars.
2 cars. Okay, going into a little bit of prospecting. So for me, I have a very, very easy game plan. My game plan is simply this, to build as much confidence in a neighborhood as fast as possible. Why do I need confidence in a neighborhood? Momentum. What else? Higher the confidence, higher the success, right? In anything you do in life, I promise you. The more confident you are in anything you do, whether it's real or fake, the higher the success rate. True or not true? It's true. I promise you. Do something you're not very confident in something. Go try to do it for a long period of time and see how much success you have. in a very short or a very quick window. It's not going to happen, right? So number one, you need a game plan, but one to build confidence. So someone said it here. What'd you say? When you get to a neighborhood, you do what first? Prospect. Very easy word. What is prospecting?
Looking for the person to buy in the moment.
Yeah, what are you looking for when you prospect in a new neighborhood? Homeowners, 2 cars, lights on, kids outside, whatever, right? I get to a brand new area. Let's say I have 4 streets, okay? Really easy math. 1, 2, 3, 4. These are all houses. These are all houses. These new apps and technology and shit don't make you do these cool street sheets on back of folders and stuff like we used to. Promise it's 10 times more fun. Anyway, here's my street sheet, okay? Who gets out and just knocks a door? Lee? Okay. Who does something else? Seth, what do you do? This is your neighborhood, first day here. I drop you off. Seth, good luck. This is your street sheet. What's up first? That's it. That was what I was looking for. So first, direction or route, whatever you want to call it, doesn't matter. Where are you starting? Where are you ending, right? I like to start here. I'm never going all 4 roads first. I'm going to focus road 1, road 2, max for the first week, right? First thing I'm looking for is anybody that has solar. Why? Referrals. What else?
Their experience. Yeah,
how many people can go get dropped off right now, brand new neighborhood, go knock the first door and feel like they deliver at 100%? Yeah, if you raise your hand, you're 100% lying, right? So don't raise your hand. You're not doing it, right? Why? You're not familiar, you're nervous, you just drank a Red Bull and a Bang and you're jittery and you sound like shit and you're like sweating a little bit, right? Who still gets nervous? Seth, still get nervous knocking your first door?
Every door, yeah, take a breath every door.
Yeah, it doesn't get any easier, I promise. These things will make it a little bit easier. So here I've got 2 roads. This dude's got solar, 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 solar. I put little S's by them so I know. Those are the first 4 doors. I don't care if there's 2 cars home, 0, none. I'm knocking those doors first for what? Confidence. That's it. I don't want anything else. I don't even give a shit who you are. I don't care if you like it, don't like it. I don't care. All I'm trying to do is get as much airtime with Roman as possible so that when I start knocking my other prospects, I'm ready to roll. The shitty pitches, the fumbling, the nervousness, it's gone, right? And so what I'm going to do here is do as many questions as possible to gain as much confidence as possible. Why'd you get solar?
Save money.
How long have you had it?
About 7 years.
Who'd you get it from?
Sunrun.
Cool. Did a lot of the other neighbors get talked to when you guys got it?
I believe so.
Cool. After you got it, you probably had a lot of people come talk to you about it. Did anybody talk to you about it and not go with Sunrun when you did?
No.
No? Are you familiar with the neighborhood? You know a lot of the neighbors?
Yeah, I've been here for about
Who's
15 years.
right next door, the red brick home? Who's this guy?
Mr. George.
Do you know what he does?
Retired school teacher.
He lived there for a while?
Yeah.
Cool. What about this house? I've heard she's like the ornery bitch on the street. She's still over there?
Yeah.
She's the Karen?
Yeah.
Everybody's been telling me about her. What does she do for work?
I don't know. I don't talk very much.
Yeah, I saw the little soccer sign in the, does she have a kid that plays soccer at the high school?
I think it's her grandkids.
Yeah, cool. Is there anyone else in this area or in the Vegas area that you know that would be interested in something like this, if there was something we could do to take care of them?
Yeah, I've talked to a few of my neighbors about it because a lot of people have been coming through.
Cool. What are some of the names?
There's Emilio, there's Lee.
Right? That's it. Perfect. Thank you. All I'm doing, and I'm doing that exact same shit literally with all 4 of these houses until they're eventually just like, dude, I can't answer any more questions. I don't want to irritate them, but I want to get to that point to where I can tell they're like, holy shit, it's like Seth's door approach. Like, this shit's irritating. Like, they're just asking me a lot of questions. What's going on, right? And it has nothing to do with this. Obviously, if I get a referral out of it, great, phenomenal. Literally, even more than the information though, just getting airtime with this guy, I'm good. Now I'm confident. I know Karen's over here. I know drug dealers here. I know old soccer coaches here, single mom here. I'm the man. This is my shit. I'm like walking around this neighborhood like, hey, What's up? They're like, dude, who the hell is this guy? He just got here. That, I promise you, I can take you to neighborhoods. I knocked 10 years ago in Lubbock, Texas. I'll walk down the road with my pants down, waving like it's a parade. They'd be like, Cam, what's up, Cam? Like every house, I promise you. Whether they bought from me or not, I do that in every single neighborhood, right? So I got my 4 solar names. I've got all of these list of names. This guy, this guy, this guy. They have kids, what they do for work. Why do I want to know all this stuff?
Qualify for solar?
Qualify, yeah. What else?
Makes you own the neighborhood.
Yeah. I'm confident with everything I'm about to say to Lee Barber because I know more about his neighborhood than he probably does. So when I go pitch Lee Barber on, yeah, I just talked to Jake. He retired last year from the high school. Susan told me your son's like an all-American soccer player. This dude's like, shit, this dude's credible, right? Who feels like sometimes they knock a door and people just like almost belittle you because you're just a random door-to-door dude? Like, you don't know me. I don't know you. I'm not going to show you respect, right? I show up to Lee Barber's house and I'm like, hey, you know Jake, you know Karen, you know Greg, you know Misty, you know all these people. What are the chances Lee's going to be an asshole to me? 0. 0, because if he is, I'm telling everybody in the neighborhood about him. And I promise you I will. Right? So I have all of these names. I have all the confidence in the world. Now what am I looking for with the rest of these houses that don't have solar yet? I do door-to-door signs next. Anything ADT, anything Vivint Home Security, anything like that. I know if they were sold by a piece of shit before, I can sell them something that's actually helpful very, very easily, right? They like buying door-to-door. Why wouldn't they buy from me, right? So now I rip through all of those homeowners. Hey, I know you guys have been talked to 5 or 6 times. What's 1 or 2 of the reasons that it didn't make sense for you guys when they last stopped by? All I have to do is answer 2 or 3 maybe concerns, not even objections. These are just concerns. They just weren't on the same page with the last dude. If I solve those 2 or 3 concerns, I win. The sale's over. I don't need to sell you anything, right? And I knocked a lot in California, so it's a very saturated market, you know, similar to Vegas, I would guess. So I'm ripping through new homes. I look for door-to-door signs first because obviously I'm more confident in knocking a door-to-door home than a cold home. More confidence, more success. After all the door-to-door signs, what's next? This is my favorite. I call it sexy. Anything that is sexy to me. Sexy to me is the homes that say like La Casa Gonzalez. Right? I love knocking those homes because I know they know a lot of people in their area, their church. They're very good at referrals, right? I love that stuff. I love handicap ramps or geese in the flower bed because I know Miss Betty lives there and she's 90 years old. She's going to tell me everything about everybody in this entire neighborhood, right? Those are sexy. Something that triggers me mentally is like, I know I can close this dude. Back in alarms, yep.
Do that, the better.
Yeah, 100%. It has way more to do with my subconscious than it has anything to do with the actual neighborhood or the actual consumer I'm trying to trigger. Actually, literally nothing to do with that. Everything to do with me mentally, right? So after we look at the sexy houses, I've done literally step 1, 2, and 3. Step 1 was anybody with solar to get as much mining and gold and material out of them as possible. Number 2 for me was anybody that had a door-to-door, usually alarm sign, anything that I know that they purchased door-to-door in the past because I'm more confident. Number 3 is sexy, anything that I know I can knock this thing out of the park. And now I have every bullet in the entire world to go knock every other cold door that I'm probably not as excited mentally and generally speaking to go knock, right? But now my confidence is so high and my knowledge and the awareness of the neighborhood and what's happening there is so high that when I knock this dude that I'm scared, I hate knocking 55-year-old white guys, right? With the Marine flag and tread on me lightly shit. I don't like that shit at all. So now when I go talk to Mr. John Wayne, and I'm like, John Wayne, scared to death to talk to you, but I'm gonna hurry and tell you the 15 neighbors that I just talked to, and I'm gonna tell you everything that they told me about you. You've lived here for a long time, you rebuild cars, You have everybody over for beers on Friday night. You're a huge Chicago Bears fan. When I can throw that at John Wayne, what are my chances of closing John Wayne now as opposed to just 3 hours ago I showed up, hey, John, how you doing? Completely different game, right? Like you're not, who's out here trying to sell 10 a day? You're not out here trying to sell 10 a day. If you are, you're doing the job very wrong. You're trying to build as much momentum in a neighborhood as possible. Who likes moving area? Some. I hate it. Scares the shit out of me every single time because once I've done 1, 2, and 3, I literally own this shit. Like they should make me the mayor of this area, right? Like that's how I treat every single area I've ever knocked in door to door. Whether I did well or not, I treat it all the exact same, right? So there's one other thing I want to tie into this, goes along a little bit with what Lee was talking about. Who has heard of fundamental attribution error? I know Seth hasn't. This shit's way over there. Those are big words for him, right? What is it? Anybody know? So one thing that I always did, one of my mentors when I first started getting into this job, I was that guy that was like, you know, Miss Betty would come outside and be like, you need to get a real job. You're a piece of shit, blah, blah, blah. And I bet, anyway, I'd start screaming really bad stuff at her. And then cops are getting called. Like we got cops called on us daily in alarms, right? So one of my mentors, I kept calling him saying, dude, I can't control my emotion. I was like overly emotional. I'd never done door to door, never sold anything. I'd never done anything like this. And the first 6 months, I just couldn't figure out how not to like almost trigger back, right? And this thing called fundamental attribution error basically is when somebody cuts you off. Who's been cut off in the last week? What was the first thing you thought of the dude that cut you off? That dude's a piece of shit, right? Like that dude is a piece of shit, but who's been late to a correlation or who's been late to a meeting and cut off like 20 people on one drive? Me too. And I'm like, dude, I'm fine. I'm late. Like people are honking like, dude, this is your fault, right? That's fundamental attribution error. And so as you go through this neighborhood, do not let people dictate you because of the type of day they're having, right? Who has mean customers or pissed off customers? All the time. It happens. To me, I used to let it ruin my entire neighborhood because I would be sitting out here. This would be me in the middle of the road in 2008 in Midland, Texas, like flipping off the homeowner, like, get your ass out here. Like, let's talk about it. Right? And then the rest of the neighbors are like, dude, this dude's a psycho. So I literally was moving areas like once a week in my first month in Midland, Odessa. And so anyway, he tells me about this thing called fundamental attribution error, which sounds really, really complicated. It's basically you're judging somebody off of the, Miss Betty answers the door, she's pissed off, get out of here, whatever, horrible day, she's bawling, something's going on. Maybe she had a family member die, maybe she just lost a job, maybe something happened, maybe Lee Barber's late to correlation, that's why he cut me off. He's not a piece of shit, he's late, right? And so given that mind, it just gives you a whole different mind shift and a paradigm change when you actually run a neighborhood with that thought. And it's a really big word, so I've never forgotten it. But when you're giving that kind of leeway to people, like, dude, it's fine. It's probably just not your day. I'll come back after I talk to the other 10 neighbors and come chat with you again. And you're making these general relationships, even though you're not selling them. I promise you, I can call 100 people on my phone that never bought solar from me, that I stopped by 2 or 3 different times, just based on an actual real relationship or a real encounter of some sort of friendship, right? And so that's all I would say with going into the fundamentals of the career. The fundamentals of the job are to slow down and give every door, like I would rather, who knocks 100 doors in here a day? 50? 50. I would rather you all go to 30 at 100% effort than stay at 50 at 70% effort. Right? The amount of success would skyrocket if you could give 30 perfect pitches with all of this information as opposed to 50 blind pitches or just 50 like I'm out here grinding. Right? The job's a grind regardless of what you do. Just have as much ammo as possible when you're grinding. Right? So that's all I have. Make sure you guys have a direction or a route. Make sure you map your flow. Make sure you're doing everything you can to get confident. Knock anything, signs alive, 2 cars, find out that the PT Cruisers are laydowns, or somebody with the minivan, somebody with the geese and the knitted window shit, and then do everything you can to make the house a sexy, right? And then obviously when you have this thing on the back burner, fundamental attribution error, people are not saying no to you, they're saying no to the offering at the time. Give them a second or even a third or fourth look. Make sure you're building momentum so that the success rate along with the grind is even. You shouldn't be knocking 200 doors a day with 0 success, right? You're missing a lot of steps if you're doing that. And so slow down, slow is fast, fast is slow in this job. Make sure you're doing everything you can to give the best effort you can on every single door. And I think the success will go through the roof. So that's it. Thanks, guys.
Cheers.
It is a cheer.
Roman, get in here.
Roman, show up.
You get today, I love you.
We love you.
All right, now let's
Get up.